Me and Alex appreciate it. I didn't even tell
Technical
Alex when we
difficulties.
were trying to figure it out before. I had some audio issue. I almost put my head through a wall. Like it was like my headphones
Oh,
just
I
started
heard
getting.
it.
You heard that too?
I heard it. Like I was having that issue too, and I heard you say like my ears are like ringing or something like that.
Yeah. At one at one point, because I was trying to delete our old VOD, I was like trying to delete it and it played and it caught me at the end like taking out my headphones, being like, oh my god, my ears are awful.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, something like that.
Oh man. But yeah, so we are here today, and if you're joining us, we're here to talk about the Bahrain Grand Prix. We're super excited to have Formula One back. Myself, Jonathan, guest here with me. Not guest.
Uh,
This is the man who's going to be bringing us his hot takes and his information every week, Alex. Um, and I listen.
Glad to
You
be
mentioned
here.
before you were excited to talk about qualifying, so why don't you just get rolling on that? I'm gonna check all our stuff here.
All right. I'm just gonna hop right into it, just from the rip. The race, nothing super exciting happened, other than Alonso competing for the podium, Albon having a nice race, and Gasly. So to me, the qualifying was exciting just because it shows that the regulations are drawing the field in. I want to say at one point from first to last place, I don't know if it was Q2 or Q3, there was only like a 2 second gap, which just shows that the regulations are working and teams are starting to catch up, even though Red Bull's obviously clearly ahead of the field.
Oh,
But
so far ahead, it's ridiculous.
yeah, but qualifying showing that like teams are catching up. Like obviously Aston Martin showed good pace. Mercedes that isn't showing nothing much. But the midfield teams it's getting tighter, which is exciting to see.
Yeah, it's funny that Mercedes pace is not like it's not bad, right? They're probably the third or fourth best team, right?
The,
But we're just so
correct.
used to them being first that like it's bad.
At least competing for a championship.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think we know who's
No,
got
it's
that
okay.
unlocked. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't. I'd love. I would as much as like. I'd love to see Hamilton and Russell and Leclerc and all of them go at it, and Verstappen go at it for a championship. I would love to see Alonso versus Verstappen go at it for a championship. I think they have very aggressive driving styles, and I'm curious how often they would butt heads and how dangerous that like situation could turn into. It'd be very volatile, extremely exciting.
yeah, because back in the day, like Verstappen went at it with like a veteran Sebastian Vettel at the time, but like Verstappen was making crazy moves because he was such a rookie. But now that he's
Mm-hmm.
experienced and he's definitely matured,
He's
it would be
to an
interesting to
extent.
see.
He still dive bombs. He still dive bombs, but like he's gotten a lot
Yep.
better at it, and it's also like a bait maneuver. I feel like now because everyone's so scared of it happening.
Yeah.
Um,
You like have to block.
Alonso, yeah,
You
Alonso
have
on
to
the other
block the
hand
max
though,
dive bomb.
Alonso is like one of the best defensive drivers,
Hmm.
and the way he overtakes is like it's like 5 or 6 turns in advance of him even thinking of the average person even thinking about it. He's setting it up the entire time, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And interesting though, we haven't talked about it yet. But when it comes to qualifying, Ferrari, because they can't do just anything like normal and just have a weekend where we don't have to talk about their nonsense. What about them not sending out Leclerc for one last run to try to get pole because they try to save those tires?
Obviously, it backfired. I mean, well, did it really? Because like I don't. If Leclerc didn't have those fresh tires, did he stay in front of Checo for as long as he did?
Yeah, you know what? Probably not. But it's funny because hindsight, looking at it now, it doesn't matter. They didn't have
No,
Checo
they
was
don't
gonna
have the
beat him.
pace.
Checo was gonna
Yeah,
beat him anyways. But it's just that they all or how about Q1? He goes into turn one on his first lap in the whatever they're calling it, the winglet that's over the tire. Because a
yeah,
piece of his car
yeah.
falls off first
Falls off.
corner
Yeah,
of first quali. Oh my
yeah. They,
god.
they they red flagged that. I could not believe they red flagged that.
I double yellow, get a dude out onto the track, right? And then pick that thing up. It takes
It
like two
wasn't on the
seconds.
racing line, right? Was it?
I mean it might have been on the racing line, but it wasn't going to be I don't know. I just thought they could have cautioned, pulled it off quick, and I don't understand the red flag for that at all.
Yeah, that was wild to me. But I mean, I guess it didn't affect too much. It was Q1 early into Q1. They got it fixed quick, but still, stewards, we got to be more efficient, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. So what I'm doing over here is if it works, which it doesn't look like it's working. I was gonna try to pull up the qualifying on my laptop for people at home so they could see what's going on, but Oh man, of course we're gonna have technical bugs tonight, right? Maybe
Haven't had enough.
maybe by like the 24th race we'll have like a technical free show. But yeah, I don't know. Qualifying, nothing really surprised me because we kind of knew Alonso was going to be fast, right? Um,
Yeah.
almost disappointment because I don't know if like because he was so fast in practice that they were thinking that he might be on the front row. So for him to get fifth, I feel like it was almost a letdown. Uh,
That's for sure. I also think Aston Martin's inexperience comes into play there. They're not used to being towards the top, competing with the top teams. Their strategy was probably a little off compared to the other teams.
yeah,
So Alonso's going to play a big take into that because obviously he has that championship experience, caliber teams he's been on. So I think that'll get better as the season goes on, and I think we will see him get a few front rows. I don't think he'll be competing for a win because I think Red Bull's that good, unless Red Bull has some reliability issues along the way.
yep.
But I think he'll get a front row.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you too, especially because I did he not get a front row last year? We're in Canada on like a wet qualifying session. So like, cause I feel like if he could pull it
I have
off
to
with
look
that
that up.
car last year, with this car and like a wet qualifying, kind of neutralizing everyone, he might be able to really pull it off. So I agree with you there. I kind
Um,
of
uh,
I fit. Go ahead.
is Alonso good in the rain, like Max level or Lewis
Yeah,
level in the rain? He is.
I think he showed it last year. I think he showed it last year that he is that good in the rain. It's funny though because max level is a real thing. Um,
Oh yeah, the dude just. It looks like he's just having fun in the rain. I,
oh my
I,
gosh,
I think Lewis is very underrated in the rain. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for that, but Max is just toying with the car. It's just amazing to watch.
if you I just watched the 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix, um, and after the Senna S's, Max creates like his own line that no one else is doing, and
So
he passed like four people
I
on the
saw.
outside.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do remember that.
Oh, and he was something stupid like 19 or something at the time. It
Yeah,
was it was absolutely crazy. But
it's
I got my laptop here real quick, so
it was.
get us off the screen here. And we're looking at the qualifying list. So I'm just gonna run through it. You shout out anything crazy. So after qualifying, we had the Red Bull lockout. Verstappen, Perez 1-2, Leclerc, Sainz 3-4, Fernando 5. Then you had the Mercedes, Russell and Hamilton 6-7, Stroll 8, Ocon 9th. That's probably the best part of his weekend. Hulkenberg 10th. Ooh, actually, we should just start right there with two drivers who qualified pretty good, right?
Mhm.
Ocon 9th, Hulkenberg 10th. That's pretty good for a Haas, and then their races took a nosedive. What do you think?
Haas obviously doesn't have. I think I saw a picture earlier this year where they had their strategy team going out, and it was just a three-person strategy thing. It looked like their booth or whatever. And if you look at like Red Bulls and Ferraris, they got like 10, 15 people lined up for this stuff. Haas is a young team. The funds are finally there, I think, this season, and I'd love to see Hulkenberg competing in the midfield. I'd love to see him get a podium. He's so ever eluding him. Um, but yeah, it was definitely a disappointment. I'm always rooting for the American team, being American. But
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I always say like Mercedes is my team, but like it's hard for me. Like I'm always rooting for Haas too, because as Americans, that's the only American team. Like we have
yeah,
to
so
root for
American team
them.
like that. Yeah, that and the
Um,
underdog team is nice. Like
yeah,
Williams.
yeah,
I'm always rooting for Williams. Huge Albon fan, by the way. Love Albon.
yeah. Well, maybe you should start dyeing your hair like he does every
But
other week for the show. Um, back to your the pit wall comment. I know what you're talking about. They got the 3-person booth. Um, they did that. They said to save like money on their like traveling expense because it all goes under the budget cap. I find that interesting though because like you said, Red Bull. I think they have like 5 or 6 people on the wall. I know Christian Horner's on there. I forget her name, but their chief strategist is on there.
yep.
Um, Adrian Newey's on there. But if you look at Mercedes pit wall, like Toto sits in the garage. Lewis's race engineer Bono, he's in the garage as well. So like, which teams put who out there? I feel like it's like old school, like it used to be your two race engineers, and then your like your principal. And now like you could put three out there, but you could still have people in the garage kind of like, kind of making calls too. So it's interesting. It's almost seemed like they're cutting the fat, but it's not proven yet because they're not winning. Like, if they win with it, then it's one thing.
I don't.
Um,
Yeah, just give Haas time. Again, the inexperience is still there. They're competing against teams that are now been in. What's the youngest team besides Haas now? Is it
I
Alpine technically? But even then, they're Renault a few years ago, so
Oh yeah, and
they
they've
didn't
been
lose
Renault
much.
for forever through all the
Yeah,
transitions. And then Aston Martin was Force India for forever. So
yeah, and then they got Stroll's background money, so like
yeah,
they're yeah
big
they got all the experience they need.
big money from Stroll right there.
Yeah, I was so one thing I do want to let's jump into the race now. I called Aston Martin to be a sneaky underdog last year to be competing at the top because I thought with Stroll's background, the innovation to their wind tunnel, I want to say they're building an entire new compound too, somewhere in I want to say it's England, but I could be wrong. I don't know, UK somewhere, but I know it's a big like building, and I'm excited to see them competing this year because they disappointed last year for sure. I would love to see Seb in that lineup over Stroll. I'm not gonna lie to you, but Stroll is he's showing he's got some speed to him. So let's see where the season takes us. And plus, I would love to see Seb and Alonso just go at each other. That'd be an exciting one.
Yeah, tell me the hype wasn't there when they didn't know if Lance Stroll was gonna race. And there was like
For Seb,
rumors that they had reached out to
sub,
Seb and it was gonna be the
yeah,
Fernando Seb lineup. Oh man,
I think that would have been fun to watch.
that it doesn't it break your heart? And they brought it up a few times though that like
Oh,
Seb.
they knew he wasn't gonna race though. Seb
I
wasn't gonna
know,
race.
but also like Seb didn't have this car last year. That would have been.
That's true. Yeah,
Oh, that
it
would
does
have.
suck because like seeing it would I would love to see Seb and competing in the front teams again. It'd be amazing to watch. And some miracle happens and he's competing for the driver championship with Alonso and Max and whatever. It'd be fun to watch.
Oh, it'd be so good. But one driver there that we mentioned that who qualified ninth who had a awful Sunday, Esteban Ocon.
Esteban, those penalties, man, they really hurt. I actually just watched a quick little breakdown of the lineup because I was a little confused on how that worked, whether he was
Yeah.
like 2 push fur ahead. And to see where it was all lined up, it was just brutal to watch, man.
When they showed him that far ahead, I didn't think he was. What did you see on the review there that
with the
they
review,
showed?
so if you look at it from the front camera when they had the race start, you could see his Alpine sticking out a little further inside, like his front wing. You could see it clearly than where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then the pit stop, I want to say for the time penalty, it was like 0.4 hundredths of a second or something like that they started early, and then it was like for the breaking the speed limit in pit lane, it was like zero point 0.1 kph over. So it's
Oh.
all like minimal stuff, and then even like I'm pretty sure when they go coming out in and out of pits, they have like a button that designates their speed.
Yeah, but they need to get to the speed before that point, and then their pit limiter kicks in.
Oh, okay. So still zero
So
point 0.1, man. That is brutal.
yeah, so he came in too hot. And that the pit limiter basically like if you're coming down from 80 to 40, let's say, and we're speaking unfortunately like miles per hour because we're
Yeah,
American
American.
losers. I think the pit limiter just doesn't let you drop below 40. It like you know what I mean. 80 to 40 levels out the car, but you
Gotcha.
can still come in if you cross that line at like 41, but you're supposed to be at 40. That's kind of where that pit limiter comes in.
But man,
Um,
zero point 0.1 kph. That is unfortunate. A
and
rough
and if
weekend for.
And if you think though, like Gasly goes from 20th to ninth, if Esteban's starting ninth, like who knows, where he could have been.
I
Um,
think. Oh well, Diaz definitely helped Esteban there. Haas dropping the ball strategy wise and stuff definitely helped Gasly to get up there. But Gasly had an impressive race. Nothing to take away from him.
yeah,
Alpine, I'm hoping can fix this little nuances they got going on, and I'd love to see them battling out in the midfield again.
yeah, absolutely.
Because
What about
because
what you think of your? I know you said you're a big Alex Albon fan, but what you think
Sergeant,
of your boy there, his teammate Logan Sargent?
he did everything he was supposed to do. I'm not sure like what they really expect out of him. If they expect him to compete with Albon this year, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Albon's a really underrated driver. Um, But other than that, I mean, he almost scored in the points in his first race, and obviously it was like I don't know how many seconds the gap was, but finishing 12th in your first race at F1 and a Williams, no doubt, is nothing to like ride home about. But it's showing he does have potential.
Yeah, and I think the way they played his strategy too. I think they went double soft tires in the first two stints, um, and then I think I
How do
think
you
I think the
feel?
strategy kind of put him off foot, and that virtual safety car helped. Um,
Oh yeah,
helped like who was it? I think it
Gasly.
helped
I'm sorry, it was Yuki
Yuki,
and who's 12th?
but that's who that strategy helped. But Logan Sargent,
Yeah,
how about him qualifying 16th, tying Lando Norris at the exact same time? Lando obviously goes to Q2 because he got his lap in before, but I mean that's a pretty amazing. Your first thing you're tying Lando Norris, who isn't a crappy McLaren but is a wheelman himself. That's pretty impressive.
oh yeah, for sure. Got to give him props for that one.
What
Disappointed in McLaren to say the least this year so far. So
What do you think about what do you think about McLaren's car? I mean, they got digital ads on their car. I think it looks good in 18th, I guess. What are you thinking about their program?
hate the library. I'm just gonna get that one off the rip. Cannot stand the library. I just
Yeah.
go back to the straight papaya. I think.
I love it.
But oh man, I feel so bad for Norris because I feel like he has the talent to be competing up there with all these young guns, and he just needs a car underneath him, and he can deliver the results. We've seen it time and time again. Probably should be a race winner at this point, and it just sucks to see that he's going into this new season with another shitty car.
Yeah, I mean I gotta agree with you too because when you look at the talent, like I see George Russell, you see Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, and you think like Lando's right there. If he was in a Ferrari or a Mercedes, I think he's getting wins. I don't know,
Oh, for sure. Well,
like
that's
like
another thing we got to talk about. Ferrari's inability to give Charles a car that can win a championship. I feel so sorry for him, man. And it's like race after race after race, he can just not catch a break. It, I don't know if you. I don't think he was in P2. Was he in P2 or P3 when he finished his race?
I think he